Now, I've been on a little bit of a mini laptop craze lately. I have another one here. It's from GPD. We'll talk about this in a minute. But I also did the 1X netbook player, or the 1X player 1 netbook 5, I should say. And this was really good. It has a nice leather cover. It has the pull forward design. Very nice. It's got the 12th gen Intel processor. It's actually got Intel Iris Xe graphics on this. Pretty good. Overall, a very nice portable mini laptop. Very premium design, but it also has a premium price tag. So just keep that in mind. I also looked at the Chewy MiniBook X. That one has a more affordable price tag, a weaker processor, although very capable. That one, of course, came in very cheap. I think less than about $350 or so. Now, I have this one here today. This is the GPD WinMax 2. This is running AMD Ryzen 7 8840U. This also has the Radeon 780M graphics. And this has been very powerful, very capable for playing games. This has been very good. But this really does disguise itself as a normal looking mini laptop. And you wouldn't know it is a gaming mini handheld, actually, without further investigation, because it has these two covers here. If you take them off, you have the joystick controls, the D-pad controls, all that stuff is here with a little bit of a touchpad there in the middle there. Actually pretty cool. Gunmetal design, very premium build. This thing has been rock solid. I've been absolutely loving this, not only for playing the occasional game here and there. Actually, it's a very serious gaming handheld, but you also can get work done. So when you want to go to a meeting and you don't want to have a gaming looking type mini laptop, you can just put these little magnetic covers back on and look at that. Boom. Now the display is very nice. It has a 2.5K resolution. It's got touch support, and it also has pen support, so you can actually take notes with this. This is a really versatile machine. It's got plenty of ports, including an Oculink port, USB 4. It's got a full-size SD card reader. It's got a micro SD card reader. It's got 2 USB-A ports. It's got pretty much every port under the sun that you might need. It's got HDMI, and as I mentioned, Oculink, a headphone jack. I mean, this thing is fully loaded. It also is very deceptively cool looking. I gotta tell you, this thing looks amazing. I took it out to a coffee shop. I've taken it to meetings, and people are saying, what the hell is that? They don't realize it's a gaming laptop until you look at the back. You have the triggers there, your controls there, and so forth. But overall, this thing has been amazing. So not cheap. I did buy it from Amazon. This was not sent over by GPD, but this is probably my favorite mini laptop so far here for 2024. I love the 1 Netbook 5 from 1X Player, but this one really gives you even more functionality and even more ports or I/O. So this has been pretty amazing. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is the GPD WinMax 2 here for 2024. Coming up. Now, before we get to the unit itself, I just want to let everyone know, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by GPD. I'm not being sponsored by GPD. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. GPD is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. This unit was purchased with my own money. This is not a review unit from GPD. Now, as I just mentioned, I did buy this myself. I did pay quite a bit of money. I spent $1,400 on this over at Amazon, probably an overpay. But considering you're getting the Ryzen 7 8840U, you're getting the 2 terabytes of storage, the 32 gigabytes of RAM, and of course, all that I/O on this, and the portability that it brings, and the gaming ability that it brings, I just felt like this is something pretty interesting, and I wanted to review it here on the channel. It may be a niche device. It may be something you might be interested in, but who knows? But for me, this thing has been pretty freaking awesome so far, and I wanted to bring you this video here today. You know the drill, folks. Let's get this out of the box. So it looks like it's already been cut open from the seller on Amazon, and let's see what we get. Thank you from, okay, so DroidX. They wanted to say a big thank you and some information there. I'll take a look at it later. All right, and let's see. Here's the unit itself. Ooh, it's a thick boy, a little bit of heft to it too, but of course, 10.1-inch display on there. It's pretty packed to the gills here. And then of course you get your documentation here. You know, it's pretty thick. It's in multiple languages, so I think Chinese, English, whatever. Okay. I bought this from Amazon, for those wondering. Link will be in the description below. Okay, so that's that. Let's put that there. All right, so we get our charger here. And for those wondering, here is the charger, 100 watts. It's a little bit of a weight to it on it. And then, of course, USB Type-C cable. All right, so that's that. And let's get this out of the plastic here. Oh, wow. This is nice. A gunmetal finish on it. That looks pretty nice. Let's put this over here. And I got to tell you, this is better than I expected. So fully loaded when it comes to ports. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Got your triggers over there. Boom, boom, boom. It's got really great port selection, USB-C, Oculink. So if you want to connect to an external GPU, you can. So build is looking really good. This is like a gunmetal. Let's see if we can open it. This mini laptop. You really can't open it with one finger. It's a pretty tight hinge also. And there it goes. Wow. So this is better than I expected. Wow. You can go back 180 degrees and you can play your games and so forth. And that's going to look pretty good. Now, one thing for those that want a normal looking laptop, they don't want to see the joysticks and all that. So I think there are going to be these little covers here. They're going to be these little covers here that allow you to cover those joysticks and stuff. So if we go here, and this will stick magnetically, boom. And now you don't have to look at those joysticks. You got a normal looking laptop. You can see it there. Boom. Interesting. All right, let's get a measurement of the weight. And we're looking at 1.090 kilograms, and that is 2 pounds, 6.5 ounces. So a little bit of heft on this baby. And now if we go back to kilograms, we put the charging cable and the power charger, 1.357 kilograms, and that is 2 pounds, 15.9 ounces all in. So a little bit of weight there, but again, small form factor, small footprint. So this works. This is the HP Tilt Pen. So this has pen support, Microsoft Pen Protocol 2.0. So that means this will work with your pen, and you can order a pen, I think, from GPD, or you can use any other pen compatible. So that's good. So I'm going to get this set up. We'll be right back. All right, let's check out the port selection here. The I/O here is really good. Not only do you get a full-size SD card reader on that left side, you also get a micro SD card reader. So not only that, you also get an SSD slot, an M.2 2230 slot to add even more storage. So plenty of storage expansion on this device. And moving over to the right side, you get 2 USB Type-A ports. Always good to have those, especially to have 2 of them, even better. And on the back is where all the fun is, as you get a 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack, an Oculink port, an HDMI 2.1 port, a USB 4.0 port, and a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 to round it out. And I gotta say, this is an excellent port selection. I like those ports on the back, keeps the cords and the cables out of the way. And on the front is your power button, which also doubles as the fingerprint scanner. Your L1, L2, and your R1, R2 trigger buttons are on the back. And on the bottom, you get additional programmable buttons, which are controlled by the user. There's some software that they do give you that allows you to customize that. And there's plenty of storage options here. If you open up this unit, as you see here from this stock photo from GPD, you can see that there is the BWin M.2 2280 SSD to expand out the storage. You can do it yourself. There's also a latch that gives you access to an M.2 2230 on this unit, and that gives you even more storage options. You gotta love it. If you want 4G LTE, you have that option as well. The latch on the left side can be removed, and you can install it yourself. I ordered it from AliExpress, and I was able to install the modem. I use it with my T-Mobile SIM, also with my Google Fi SIM, and I was able to get 4G LTE, no 5G option here, but having that 4G LTE modem gives you a lot of options, especially when you want to be connected on the road. Now, installing that modem is pretty easy. Now, GPD does have a video, and I'll link to it in the description below on how to actually do it. And like I said, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes, not the hardest thing in the world. It's actually pretty easy. Just take your time, and you'll be able to have 4G LTE on this unit. Love it. All right, let's get into the display, and I absolutely love this display. It's a 2.5K resolution, 10.1 inches. It's a 16:10 aspect ratio. It has a 2560 by 1600 maximum resolution here. Now, it's not a 120 hertz or anything like that. It's a 60 hertz, which is the only Achilles heel, I think, of this otherwise excellent display. It gets bright at 427 nits. It's got very good coverage of the color gamut. It's color accurate. It's got good contrast, good white points, good black levels. Overall, a very good display here. It also has multi-touch support, which is, of course, great for navigating the OS with your finger. It also has pen support. This thing has pretty much everything under the sun in terms of features. That's what I like about this so much, is that you're getting a lot of features here. Although you are paying a premium, you are getting a lot of those premium features for that money. And this has been a great media consumption device, especially when you're traveling. You don't want to bring a big, heavy laptop with you. This is a smaller footprint in terms of taking up space. So great for watching movies, especially with that 10.1-inch IPS display. It's vibrant. It's very colorful. It's got some good black levels and everything you'd want. And it really is a very good viewing experience so far. And by the way, the hinges on this are very good, and the display goes back 180 degrees, or almost 180 degrees, or almost level with the keyboard, as you see here. So really good in terms of getting the perfect viewing angle with this unit. And again, the stiff hinges are really welcome here.
Now, unlike the one Netbook 5 from 1X Player that I looked at, where there didn't have a webcam, this one actually has one. It's a 720p camera here. It's not an IR camera, so no face recognition. But if you want to log in with the Windows Hello, you can use the power button, which doubles as a fingerprint scanner. But the camera placement is not the best here. Remember the old Dell XPS 13 with the bottom placement in terms of the camera? Well, that's exactly what we have here. I guess they had no room anywhere else on this mini laptop. Understandable, but I'm glad they did include it because it's better than nothing. But again, you may have to prop it up on a book or something to give it a proper viewing angle. But that's, of course, secondary. Let me know what you think about the video quality, and let me know what you think about the audio quality in the comments section below.
Now, one of the reasons I chose the 2024 edition is because it's running the AMD Ryzen 7 8840U, 8 cores, 16 threads, Radeon 780M graphics. So we're seeing the results here. Single core, multi-core are very good here, and we're seeing pretty good GPU performance as well in terms of the OpenCL score. So as far as a portable gaming system, this certainly is capable and definitely can get some playable frame rates, as we'll show in a moment. Cinebench 2024, I scored a 100 single core, very good, 707 multi-core. So for this type of mini laptop, this type of device, very good single and multi-core performance, doing Microsoft Office, email, web browsing, all handled with ease. Now, graphics are going to be important here. Obviously, the 3D Mark will show what the 780M Radeon graphics can do. As you can see, the TimeSpy score just shy of 2,000 here. We're also looking at a very good Firestrike and Wildlife Extreme score, so very capable when it comes to the graphics here. And gaming is very good on this. For example, I played GTA 5. I tried it with low settings, high settings, ultra settings, and obviously the middle ground here, which of course is the high settings, in the mid 60s in terms of frames per second. And that is definitely playable here. So no issues with playing a lot of these AAA titles. Older titles will play better, obviously. There's no discrete GPU here, although I did connect it to an external GPU via the USB 4 port. It also has an Oculink port. Don't forget that. Now, Witcher 3 here, obviously, also does playable frame rates here. High settings, you're looking at the high 40s, and Cyberpunk 2077, low settings, you're definitely looking at the 40s up to 50s, of course. It depends on what settings you put it at, but you're going to average around, say, 39, 40 in terms of the frames per second. So definitely playable as far as these games are concerned. Dota 2 Reborn, more of the same. So very capable handheld gaming on this mini laptop. Now, as I just mentioned, it has 60 hertz. That's a pretty standard refresh rate. But when it comes to gaming, I really wish it did have that 120 hertz. That would have been great. It would have been great to have a variable refresh rate. We don't get that here. Now, there is a GPD Win Mini that does have a high refresh rate display that I will be reviewing very soon. But as far as this one is concerned, 60 hertz is what you get here. Although gaming on it has been very pleasurable in the sense that you do get a really nice 10.1-inch display, so you get a lot of screen real estate. Just wish it had that high refresh rate. I was able to use it with my external GPU, and that, of course, was a pre-production unit that you see here, so that little display on it is not working properly. I have to configure that again, but overall, the graphics work okay on it. So it's the Radeon RX 6600M that is integrated with that GPU dock, and I was getting about double the performance in terms of time spy score than I did with the integrated 780M Radeon graphics. So there you go. You can connect it to an external GPU via the USB 4 port, as I'm doing here, or you can connect via Oculink, get a little bit more throughput out of it. So that Oculink port will come in handy, especially with an eGPU. Now, I know GPD makes one. I don't have one here, but if I do get it one day, I'll make a video on it and we can test it out as well. But eGPU support is here, so that's good overall. Now, good news, when I ran the Time Spy stress test to see if this will thermal throttle under heavy load, it got a passing score of 99.2%, detecting virtually no thermal throttling under load. And that's amazing. That's great. And having a thicker chassis means better cooling allowed here, and we're seeing the results, keeping the surface temperatures pretty at bay here, pretty cool and quiet. We'll get into the fan noise in a moment, but as far as the surface temperatures under load, never getting overly hot here, and on the underside can get around 40 degrees or so, so not bad at all when it comes to the surface temperatures. Where the heating vent is, of course, that's where the heat will dissipate. But of course, fan noise never going above about 43 decibels under load, and when you're doing everyday tasks, the fans were not noticeable at all, keeping it relatively quiet throughout. All right, let's talk battery life, and actually pretty good. It just depends on what you're going to do on this laptop. Now, of course, it does have a 70 watt-hour battery, which is a pretty nice size, especially for the segment, and I got 8 hours and 42 minutes. I would say of mixed use, more of like the modern office test that I do on the PC Mark X modern office test, so just shy of 9 hours on that. I got 9 hours and 12 minutes on video playback, and I got 2 hours and 2 minutes on gaming. But of course, everybody uses their device a little bit differently, so your mileage may vary, but these will give you a little bit of a general benchmark here to expect what to expect with it, of course. Now, the 1X Player, one netbook 5 that I reviewed had a smaller 42.35 watt-hour battery. That did 7 hours and 27 minutes on that mixed use, 6 hours 56 minutes on the video playback, and an hour 36 minutes on the gaming. And the Chewy MiniBook X, which comes in at a lot less of a price tag, but also has a pretty small 28.88 watt-hour battery. That did less than what these two did, of course. So I would expect your battery life to be pretty decent here. Now, they do include a 100 watt power charger in the box. So of course that's going to give you fast charging, pretty beefy charger in terms of the wattage. So pretty good that they do include this here with this unit. Now, I'm going to test the speakers on the GPD WinMax 2, and to compare it, I'm going to show the 1X Netbook Player, which has some really good speakers, by the way. Harman Kardon Tune. This says DTS Audio. It says it on the bottom there. So DTS X Audio. So both are good. I don't know which one is better. I'm still trying to decide. This one might get a little bit louder. This may have a little bit more bass, but again, I'm still working that out. But let me know what you think. Let's give it a listen, and let's see what you think about the sound on these mini laptops. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the GPD WinMax 2 here for 2024? I like the great performance we're getting from the Ryzen 7 8840U from AMD. I like the Oculink support. That gives you the eGPU support. Also can connect via the USB 4 in terms of an eGPU. Love that versatility. Getting good GPU performance regardless with the Radeon 780M, especially for handheld here. Great 10.1-inch 2.5K display. I like the fact that you can expand out storage with the additional SSD slot. I like the optional 4 4G LTE module that you can put into this. I love having that. Excellent I/O. Gunmetal design is a very rock solid build, and that is really excellent. It's got pen support, so this pretty much has everything under the sun. So if you need to sketch out a diagram, artwork, or even take some notes, there is that possibility here. Hall effects controls, of course, in terms of gaming, and the magnetic covers hide the gaming controls, making this look like a pretty pedestrian looking, although very good looking, regular laptop, not a gaming laptop. But of course, it's not a perfect device. There are things that I think they can improve on in the next iteration. One of them, of course, I don't think is going to change. That's the RAM, and it's not upgradable, although you do get some excellent RAM options here. I have 32 gigabytes with 2 terabytes of storage, by the way, and you can go up to 64 and I believe 4 terabytes of storage. So 64 gigabytes of RAM is really unheard of in this segment, I think, but that is a good option to go with. No OLED or option for high refresh rate here. It's 60 hertz. I think that holds it back into some degree, although the 2.5K 60 hertz display IPS is actually quite good. You'll probably need to rest this on your lap or table to comfortably play a game. It is a little bit of the bigger form factor here, mini laptop also, and it is expensive, although, like I said, you do get 32 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabytes on my unit, can go up to 64 and 4 terabytes. So that is a good option to have, and I guess that justifies the price. I think some mainstream laptops don't even give you those options, so kudos to them for putting that in there, although it is a lot of money at the end of the day. But the bottom line is GPD has created a pretty unique device here that can pull double duty here, one as a mini laptop that you could take to a meeting, use it in a classroom, and not have look like a gaming handheld, basically. But at the end of the day, remove the magnetic covers, you got the controls, and you have an excellent gaming laptop with an AMD-based Ryzen processor that is, of course, under the hood. So overall, they've done a fantastic job here. It's become one of my favorites here in 2024. I went out and I bought it, and I didn't return it. This is my own unit, and I'm loving it so far.